Have you noticed that things you once did without thinking now seem to take a little more effort? Maybe climbing the stairs leaves your legs feeling tired, getting up from a chair requires you to push off with your hands, or you find yourself holding onto a railing more often than you used to. If that sounds familiar, you are certainly not alone. But here is something important. While some changes in muscle strength are a normal part of aging, you should not automatically assume that every bit of weakness is simply because you are getting older. Sometimes, your body may be missing nutrients that support normal muscle and nerve function. And that is where today's discussion becomes especially interesting. There are 3 vitamins that deserve attention when we talk about healthy aging, mobility, and maintaining strong, capable legs. They are vitamin D, vitamin B12, and vitamin B6. Now, I want to make one thing very clear from the beginning. These vitamins are not magic pills, and taking them does not guarantee that your legs will suddenly become stronger. Your muscles still need movement, adequate protein, sleep, and overall good health. But if you are deficient in an important nutrient, correcting that deficiency may remove one obstacle standing between you and better physical function. Think about it this way. Imagine trying to keep an old car running smoothly. You can drive it carefully and maintain it regularly. But if an essential fluid is missing, the engine cannot perform the way it should. Your body is similar. Nutrition provides many of the raw materials and supporting factors your muscles, nerves, and bones need every day. As we move through this video, you will learn why these 3 vitamins matter, what signs may suggest that something is wrong, and perhaps most importantly, why simply buying a high-dose supplement is not always the answer. Because there is one reason leg strength can decline after 60 that many people overlook, and understanding it makes everything that follows much easier to understand. Section 2. Why leg strength changes with age. As we get older, our bodies gradually change, and one of the most important changes involves muscle. Beginning in midlife, many adults slowly lose muscle mass and strength unless they actively work to maintain it. This process is sometimes called age-related muscle loss, but you do not need a medical term to understand what is happening. Think about your muscles like a bank account. When you regularly use them, challenge them, and give your body enough nutrition to repair them, you are making deposits. When you spend most of the day sitting and rarely challenge your muscles, you are making fewer deposits. Over time, the account can become smaller. The problem is that this can create a frustrating cycle. Your legs become weaker, so activities like walking uphill or climbing stairs become harder. Because they are harder, you may start avoiding them. Then your muscles receive even less stimulation, which can contribute to further weakness. Nutrition is another part of this picture. Your muscles need adequate protein and a range of vitamins and minerals to function normally. Your nerves also need proper nutrition because they are responsible for sending messages from your brain to your muscles. Your bones matter too because they provide the framework that allows your muscles to move your body. So when we talk about stronger legs, we are not talking about muscles alone. We are talking about an entire system working together. This is why simply taking a vitamin without addressing movement, diet, or an underlying medical problem may not solve the real issue. However, if your body is lacking a nutrient that plays an important role in normal function, addressing that deficiency can be meaningful. This brings us to our first vitamin, and it is one that has a particularly important relationship with both your bones and your muscles. Section 3. Vitamin D. Support for muscles and bones. Vitamin D is often discussed in connection with bones, and for good reason. Your body needs vitamin D to help regulate calcium and maintain normal bone health. But its importance does not stop there. Vitamin D also plays a role in normal muscle function, which is one reason it deserves attention when we talk about mobility as we age. Imagine your legs as a building. Your bones are the framework, while your muscles provide much of the movement and support. If the foundation is not properly maintained, the whole structure can become less reliable. Vitamin D is one of the nutrients involved in maintaining that foundation. Research suggests that inadequate vitamin D status can be associated with muscle weakness and poorer physical performance, particularly in people who are deficient. This does not mean every older person with tired legs has a vitamin D deficiency. Leg weakness has many possible causes. But it does mean vitamin D is worth discussing with a healthcare professional when there are concerns about nutritional status. One reason older adults may have lower vitamin D levels is that the skin becomes less efficient at producing vitamin D from sunlight as we age. Lifestyle also matters. Someone who spends very little time outdoors may have less opportunity for sunlight exposure. Certain health conditions can also influence vitamin D levels. Food can provide some vitamin D, including foods such as fatty fish, egg yolks, and fortified products, although dietary intake alone may not always provide enough for everyone. Supplements can be useful when recommended, but this is where caution matters. More is not automatically better. Taking very large amounts without guidance can cause problems because vitamin D is fat-soluble and can accumulate in the body. So the goal is not to chase the highest possible number on a supplement bottle. The goal is to have an appropriate amount for your individual needs. And even if vitamin D is adequate, there is another nutrient that becomes especially important when weakness is accompanied by numbness, tingling, or balance changes. That takes us to vitamin B12, Section 4. Vitamin B12, the connection between nerves and movement. Have you ever wondered why some people describe their legs as feeling weak, heavy, numb, or strangely unsteady? Sometimes the problem is not simply the muscles themselves. Your nervous system plays a major role in movement. Your brain sends instructions through nerves to your muscles, almost like an electrical communication network. Vitamin B12 is important for normal nerve function and is also needed to make healthy red blood cells. When B12 levels become too low, people can develop symptoms that include fatigue, weakness, numbness, or tingling. Some may also experience problems with balance or coordination. This is one reason B12 is especially interesting for older adults. As we age, some people become less efficient at absorbing B12 from food. Certain digestive conditions can interfere with absorption, and some medications may also affect B12 status. This means a person can eat foods containing B12 and still have difficulty maintaining an adequate level. Picture someone in their late 60s who begins feeling less steady while walking. They may tell themselves, "I guess this is just what happens when you get older." But if the change is persistent or worsening, it deserves attention rather than dismissal. There could be many explanations, and B12 deficiency is only one possibility. But a healthcare professional can evaluate the situation and determine whether testing is appropriate. Foods naturally rich in B12 include fish, meat, eggs, and dairy products, while fortified foods can provide another source. Supplements may be recommended for people who are deficient or have difficulty absorbing B12. But again, the important principle is not simply to take more. It is to identify what your body actually needs. And now we come to the third vitamin, where there is a particularly important lesson, because this nutrient shows us that vitamins can be helpful in the right amount, but potentially harmful when people assume that more must always be better. Section 5. Vitamin B6. Important, but more is not better. Vitamin B6 is involved in many processes throughout the body, including normal metabolism and nervous system function. It can be found naturally in foods such as poultry, fish, potatoes, bananas, and fortified foods. Because B6 participates in so many biological processes, it is sometimes included in multivitamins and various supplements marketed for energy or general health. But there is an important warning here that older adults should understand. Taking a vitamin does not become safer simply because the vitamin is essential. Your body needs an appropriate amount, not an unlimited amount. In fact, excessive intake of vitamin B6 from supplements over time can cause nerve problems, including symptoms such as tingling, numbness, or burning sensations. That creates an interesting situation. Someone might take a supplement because they want to protect their nerves, while taking too much of a particular nutrient could actually contribute to nerve-related symptoms. This is why I encourage people to look beyond the front of the supplement bottle. Check how much of each nutrient you are getting, especially if you take several different products. A multivitamin, an energy supplement, and a separate B-complex product could all contain B6, causing the total amount to add up without you realizing it. The lesson is simple. Vitamins are not harmless just because they are sold without a prescription. They are biologically active substances, and the dose matters. For most people, getting nutrients through a varied diet is a sensible foundation, while supplements should be used thoughtfully when there is a clear reason. And if you have persistent numbness, tingling, balance problems, or unexplained weakness, do not simply assume you need more vitamins. First, find out what is actually causing the problem. That brings us to some warning signs you should not ignore. Section 6. Warning signs your legs deserve a closer look. There are certain changes in your legs that deserve more attention than simply saying, "I'm getting older." For example, if you suddenly find it much harder to climb stairs, repeatedly struggle to rise from a chair, or notice persistent numbness or tingling in your feet and legs, it is worth discussing those symptoms with a healthcare professional. The same is true if your balance has noticeably changed or you have begun experiencing falls. Another important sign is weakness that continues to worsen rather than remaining stable. These symptoms do not automatically mean you have a vitamin deficiency. In fact, there are many possible explanations. Medication side effects, anemia, thyroid problems, nerve conditions, circulation issues, joint problems, and neurological disorders can all affect how your legs feel and function. That is why self-diagnosis can be risky. Instead of asking, which vitamin should I take? A better question is, what is causing this change? Your healthcare professional may review your medications, diet, medical history, physical strength, and possibly laboratory tests. And there is one situation that should never be ignored: sudden weakness, particularly weakness affecting one side of the body or accompanied by symptoms such as trouble speaking, facial drooping, or sudden confusion, requires urgent medical attention. Do not wait for a vitamin to fix those symptoms. Get medical help immediately. For more gradual changes, however, the important message is that you have options. Identifying the cause is the first step, and if a nutritional deficiency is involved, correcting it may become part of the solution. But before you reach for a supplement, there are several common mistakes worth knowing about. Section 7. The biggest vitamin mistakes people make. One of the most common mistakes is assuming that a supplement can replace a healthy diet. It cannot. Your body needs protein, fiber, healthy fats, minerals, and many other nutrients that work together. Another mistake is taking several supplements without checking whether they contain overlapping ingredients. This is particularly important with B vitamins, where multiple products can quietly increase your total intake. A third mistake is choosing a very high dose, because the label makes it sound more powerful. Higher doses are not automatically more effective, and some nutrients can cause harm when taken excessively. Another mistake is expecting vitamins to replace exercise. Your muscles respond to being used. If you want to maintain functional leg strength, appropriate resistance exercise, and regular physical activity remain extremely important. Think of it this way. Vitamins can help provide the supporting conditions your body needs, but they cannot do the workout for your muscles. Finally, one of the biggest mistakes is ignoring persistent weakness because you assume it is inevitable. Aging is real, but not every change should simply be accepted without investigation. If your walking ability, balance, or ability to stand has changed significantly, finding the cause can be much more useful than guessing. Once nutrition and medical concerns have been addressed, the next question becomes much more positive. What everyday habits can actually help you maintain stronger, more capable legs? Section 8. The simple formula for stronger legs after 60. If your goal is to stay mobile and independent as you age, think beyond vitamins. Start with nutrition. Make sure your meals provide enough protein and include a variety of nutrient-rich foods. Depending on your health needs, this may include fish, eggs, dairy, beans, vegetables, fruits, whole grains, and other minimally processed foods. Then add movement. For many older adults, simple exercises such as repeated chair stands, supported heel raises, walking, and appropriately challenging resistance exercises can help maintain functional strength. The key is choosing activities that match your current ability. If you have significant weakness, pain, balance problems, or a medical condition, ask a healthcare professional or qualified exercise professional for guidance before beginning a new routine. Balance training also deserves attention because strong muscles are only one part of staying steady on your feet. Adequate sleep, hydration, and recovery matter too. And if you suspect a vitamin deficiency, ask your healthcare professional whether testing makes sense rather than guessing from symptoms alone. This approach is much more powerful than searching for a single miracle nutrient. You are building a complete system. Good nutrition provides the raw materials, exercise gives your muscles a reason to stay strong, sleep allows recovery, and medical care helps identify problems that lifestyle alone cannot fix. The encouraging part is that these are areas where you can take meaningful action. You do not have to change everything overnight. Small, consistent habits can add up over time. Now let's bring the 3 vitamins together so you can remember exactly what today's discussion was really about. Section 9. The 3 vitamins to remember. The first vitamin is vitamin D, which supports normal bone and muscle function and is particularly important when someone has inadequate levels. The second is vitamin B12, which supports normal nerve function and red blood cell production and becomes especially relevant when symptoms such as numbness, tingling, fatigue, or balance changes are present. The third is vitamin B6, which contributes to normal metabolism and nervous system function, but also teaches us an important safety lesson. Excessive supplementation can cause problems. So the goal is not to collect as many vitamins as possible or take the largest dose you can find. The goal is to make sure your body has what it needs in appropriate amounts while addressing the bigger picture. If you are experiencing weakness, remember that vitamins are only one possible piece of the puzzle. Your activity level, protein intake, sleep, medications, medical conditions, and overall nutrition can all influence how your legs perform. And if your weakness is persistent, worsening, or accompanied by numbness or balance problems, talk with a healthcare professional rather than trying to diagnose yourself. Stronger legs are not simply about looking fit. They are about being able to get out of a chair, walk through your home, climb the stairs, shop for groceries, travel, and continue doing the things that make life enjoyable. That is why protecting your mobility is worth paying attention to. Section 10. Strong ending and CTA. So if your legs do not feel quite as strong as they once did, do not immediately assume that your best years of mobility are behind you. Aging brings changes, but there are still many things you can do to support your strength and independence. Pay attention to your nutrition, stay physically active within your abilities, make sure you are getting enough protein, and speak with your healthcare professional if you suspect a deficiency or notice a meaningful change in your strength or balance. Vitamin D, B12, and B6 can all play important roles in the body, but the bigger lesson is that no single vitamin can replace a complete approach to healthy aging. Your legs carry you through almost every part of your daily life, so taking care of them is really an investment in your freedom. If this video helped you understand something new, share it with someone who is trying to stay strong and active as they get older. And tell us in the comments, what is becoming harder for you? Climbing stairs, getting out of a chair, walking longer distances, or maintaining your balance? Your answer may help someone else realize that they are not alone. Most importantly, remember this. You cannot stop the clock, but you can take steps today to support the body that carries you through it.